Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, I have said before, and I'll say it again, a lot of these black immigrants don't have any manners. They don't know how to behave when they go to somebody else's country, which tells me they don't know how to behave when they go to somebody else's house, which also suggests that maybe that is why they don't get along with each other in their homelands, because they don't have any manners. So they come to the United States and everybody is an authority on black Americans. Black Americans don't have culture. Black Americans don't have culture. They don't know where they come from. They don't know this about themselves. They don't know that. And all the time we can stay here and have a pretty decent life without running off to other people's country if we don't want to. So Haitians are the ones in the spotlight now because Haitians are becoming a nuisance in some of these American cities. And the people that they say are the nicest to them, white Americans, are the ones that are complaining about them. Black Americans didn't know anything about Haitians eating cats and geese and any other kind of pet that these white people are saying that they're eating in their neighborhoods and don't know how to drive, causing accidents and things. So let's just hear what some of their friends are saying about them.
I was out and about yesterday, driving around Springfield. I was looking at the giant holes in some of our buildings. I noticed all of the old familiar spots bearing new signs in an unfamiliar language. I watched as groups of strangers walked around the city like lost tourists, and it was like a punch in the gut. A terrible sadness came over me, and I began to cry. I immediately started to think back to when I was little, walking from my grandma's house on South Fountain through downtown and all the way to Snyder Park, going to Wren's to get new school clothes and shoes, the excitement of the mall for lunch at the Blue Fox, or even better to see Santa, riding down High Street, admiring the beauty of those stately homes and their amazing architecture, dropping pennies in the fountain and making wishes. And now, all those warm memories are becoming fuel to the fire of anger inside of me. I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city. I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered with garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear, this is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people, our land, or our life's work. People living their life here the way they did in Haiti, angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by. Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play. Relieving themselves in public. Making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop. What will become of Springfield? Where will we be in 5 years? The thought terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This thought is keeping me awake at night. I just want the old Springfield back. I know it was far from perfect, but at least it was still ours. Thank you.
So I'm just wondering if what this woman just described is true. And if it is true, is this what Haitians call culture? Is that y'all's culture? I just want to know. She just described behavior that Black Americans would call very backwards and maybe even uncivilized. But this is what you call culture? We need to be clear on what culture is, because culture is what you do on a daily basis. It's not something that Africans have decided is culture. It's not something that Caribbeans have decided is culture. Culture is what you do on a daily basis. So this woman says that they are behaving like animals. That's what she said. She said they're behaving like animals. Now, this is a white American. So we need to be really clear about who is saying that these Haitian immigrants are acting like animals. Because when it's told and retold, I don't want them to switch around and tell a lie and say black Americans are the ones that were mean to them and said they were behaving like animals. And just to be clear, it's not just this white woman. It's several of them. They're out in the public talking to anybody that will listen to them, saying whatever they want to say, very unflattering things about these Haitian immigrants. And there are any number of Haitian immigrants, and I saw this on Twitter, talking about black Americans. They always like to center black Americans in their discussion. And we all remember those two Haitian women sitting up talking about black Americans not having culture, and they were sitting up there dressed and acting like black American women. But there are a number of them talking about black Americans. You don't have culture because you don't act like your family members acted when they came from Nigeria. Well, that's right. And that's how come we don't have African culture. We have black American culture. It seems to be the hardest thing for these people to process that we are not Africans. We are not the same people that our foreparents were when they came to this hemisphere. We have been changed by the experience, by the people that we've interacted with, by the geography of the land, by everything that has happened to us since we got here. We had to create a new persona for ourselves that they don't want to accept. So this woman is making an attempt to explain that to the people who don't get it.
The concept of black culture is very specific to the West, but even more so specific to the US. The concept of black culture, or the reality of black culture, came from African Americans being stripped away from their African roots. Nigerian culture isn't black culture, it's Nigerian culture. And even within Nigerian culture, there's different cultures because of region and ethnicities. The dichotomy between white culture and black culture is also very specific to the US, because this delineation between the two cultures is not very much talked.
The important point that she made is that black American culture is not Nigerian culture. So we're not supposed to be behaving like Nigerians. So when people can learn to respect that, that might be the beginning of understanding. But in the meantime, if they're going to live in the United States, they really do need to learn how to adapt to the American way of doing things. It's very sad to see people coming out talking about the Haitians in this way. We've got all of these illegals around here, and they're all doing stuff, and they're all annoying, but now they're focusing on the Haitians, and it looks bad. It's a bad look for them, and that might be what they call culture, but here in America, we say it's a bad look for you. So instead of focusing on black American culture and whether or not we have culture, you need to focus on your own culture. And furthermore, they're carrying on so bad down there in Haiti that they're all trying to get out who can get out. And the Kenyans have had to send their police force down there trying to restore order. They got some gangster, some thug running around calling himself Barbecue that's terrorizing the whole country. So is that what you call culture? And I'll just end with this. If you want white Americans to continue being your friends, since you say they're so much nicer to you than black Americans, you better not be stealing their pets and eating their pets and relieving yourselves on the side of the road and flying foreign flags in the town square. So you might want to brush up on what Americans consider culture. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Leave a comment and have a good evening.